Hi, this will be a general tarot reading today, bringing in some beautiful, loving, kind energy. I found a smudge stick that I made with rosemary from my garden. I thought I had sent them all to my friends. I think a friend of mine asked me to make 5 for him, which I did, I think, and then I kept 1 for myself, and I didn't think I had any more. I've got Palo Santo, but it's not lighting very well. So it's always nice to connect with some sage and rosemary. I think that's got sage in it as well. Yeah, sage and rosemary. So I'm just kind of rearranging what I've got in front of me. I've got my tuning fork as well. I'm going to actually just quickly, if I turn it actually, because I'm right-handed, I'm just going to place it here because I did feel that there is something going on with the throat chakra today, and I was guided to get out my beautiful labradorite crystal. So I'm always, what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know. Curious, yeah, maybe, yeah, that one. That one. Why certain crystals and why certain cards? Because all my cards have completely changed from my last video, which was the Akashic Records Tarot. That's it, yeah. I've been at a yoga class today, so it's really good. Yeah. A bit tired, but I'm okay. She had some lovely sound bowls, and I didn't get a chance to ask her where she got them from because she was chatting to another lady, but I was going to see if I can get some of those. There's some beautiful Himalayan sound bowls made in India. So I might have a look at that. I don't know. Depends how much they are really. You know, I'm trying to kind of keep my costs low to an extent because I will be moving soon. So we'll see. If I find the right one, what I kind of go on is if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, then it's not. What's also tongue drum, the ones with like the little things like these, and you play all different kind of notes on it. Oh, I like that. And the hand pan is lovely, but the tongue drum, like, oh, I can't get my words out today. That's what I mean with the throat chakra. My friends and I, we went to Brighton, and it was so funny because we went downstairs in this shop and we were playing the tongue drums and didgeridoos, and oh, it was such an amazing day. Like, we really woke that shop up. The guy loved it. He didn't mind at all. He was like, yeah, just go play what you like. So I need to go back to that shop. That was fun, you know. So I feel also, obviously, with what's going on in some people's lives, is to make sure you have fun. Yeah. There's definitely something going on with the throat chakra today. My throat's been fine, so, and then I come on here and it's just like, whoa. Hence the Labradorite. I love this. Like, this is beautiful. But it's a bit big to wear as a pendant. It's a bit big. It's a bit big, Lou. I'd be like, I just have a pendant like this, yeah, and then, you know, that'll do me. Beautiful. Yeah. Itchy nose, so yeah. Tiger's eye wand. Okay, so yeah, so make sure you have fun, you know. It's like if we always focus on the negative, then where would we be? And also what got me thinking today was about like watching the news and stuff, because what made me think, because I haven't had a TV license since I moved in here, and that was what, 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. And yeah, and I remember saying to like the TV license people when I moved from my previous home to here, and I phoned them up, and she was like, oh, you've got to inform us every 2-3 years or whatever. I said, I will never ever have a TV license because I will not watch any live TV. So put me on your computer, yeah, as that, basically. I still get letters now, so, you know, but what I remembered this morning before I went to my yoga class was, in my previous home, there was 2 doors. Obviously, like the first door was like an entrance door. You know, you needed a key to get in. Some places have an intercom. This one was a key. And then the second door, obviously, was getting into my home. So someone obviously let this TV license guy in, and there was a random knock at my door, and he was like, oh, I'm from TV license and that. I said, yeah, come in, because I thought, do you know what, I may as well just like get on with it, really, in that respect, because he's there, do you know what I mean? And someone obviously let him in. So he was saying about with live TV, and I said, no, I don't watch live TV. And I explained to him where the TV aerial socket was, and obviously where my TV was. I mean, I have a TV, but I watch DVDs and, you know, sort of stuff and that as well, so in box sets or whatever, you know, and obviously watching things online. But then I didn't even have internet. I just used to use my mobile data, so, or I go over to friends or my mum's or whatever, you know, it didn't really bother me. But he couldn't believe it, you know, he couldn't believe it that I just let him in. So, you know, but my point is, when I was thinking, even when I was a child, my nan and granddad always had the news on. My dad always had the news on. My mum always had the news on. And then it was the soaps, and I don't watch any of them anymore. But it's just being mindful of what we watch, you know, and it's very difficult of what we put our money to, because all different connections are connected to others, and, you know, so I'm kind of waiting. I don't know when that's going to be, a knock on the door, and even now I'd be like, well, you can come in, do you know what I mean? But I don't watch live TV. Excuse me, I've just had a cup of tea. But it's the threat of £1,000 fine, I think it is, or something, you know. And that's another thing of like the threat, you know, if you don't pay this, you know, we're going to fine you, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It's just being mindful of what we allow into our minds. Everyone's got free will. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here to like tell anybody what to do. But just be mindful with what you're watching, what you're connecting with, you know, and that, because it's very important. And fear can, well, they use it to, you know, to try and make people do what they want them to do. Do you know what I mean? They're like, if you don't do this, we're going to do this. You know, if you don't do that, we're going to, you know, and that. So they use fear. I'm not going to really say it's a male energy, but I'm just going to say with some men on a personal experience, you know, they've tried to do that to me. And because of certain things that I've been through in life, it doesn't work anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you going to do? Finish me off, you know? Is that the best that you can do? Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't behave yourself, if you don't, you know, we're going to do this, or, you know, oh, you said this, you know. And another thing, who gives them the right to decide when someone lives or dies? They're not gods. They're not Mother Earth. Yeah. So there's a few things for some people to think about. And I know that there are some people who watch my videos. Of course I know. Do you know what I mean? Give you something to think about, basically, in regards to that, you know, of trying to use those kind of tactics to try and frighten someone. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, it's just like, it's weak. It's not strong. It's weak. Men need to be protective of women. Women need to be protective of men. Basically, it's not all one-sided. First card out, Saint Germain, karma releasing. Whoa, okay, here we go. Move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. Beautiful. And some people are experiencing karma. Could be ancestral karma, could be their own karma. Too many, you know. And I feel it's given some people a wake-up call. I mean, I think sometimes, how many wake-up calls do some people need? Do you know what I mean? Before they actually get it. I just... Oh. I'm not surprised he's come out. Odin, psychic insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. Yeah. Definitely. Lord Shiva, transcendence, rise up, honor your inner force, steps are being given, dance with the universe. Look at this incredible masculine energy coming out. I love it. Masculine energy is incredible. Do you know what I mean? Not any of this nonsense like, what's the word some people use? Toxic. You know, doesn't have to be. Like, I know it's a label, do you know what I mean, of the word. But, you know, it's like some men don't have to throw their weight around to get what they want. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to use that nastiness or that threatening or try and put the fear into people for people to do as they're told, you know. I'm not only talking about with the feminine, I'm just talking about it in general. You know, they should be protectors of women, you know, and women as well. Do you know what I mean? It does go both ways at the end of the day. I'm not saying it's all one-sided. I'm just saying what has been, you know, coming out. But that kind of affect the energy. That's what I'm saying, getting back to what people connect with, to do with the news or their environment and the people around them. And as I say, for example, I just use a TV license as an example, but the threat, you know, and it's like some people feel that they can only get people to do what they want is to threaten them, right? And that is like a toxic masculine energy. There's no need for it. There really is no need for it. It's like, come on, you know. The Miriam, sacred vision, choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. Yeah, forgiveness. Sometimes we have to do forgiveness for ourselves. It's not so much about the other person or the other people. My throat chakra wants to close up. Excuse me. But it's also not taking your crap out on somebody else because some people haven't dealt with their stuff. You know, they're still carrying that on them because they haven't let go, because they haven't forgiven. It doesn't make whatever happened okay, you know, but carrying that anger, that hurt, that pain, that betrayal, I mean, it's a hell of a lot to carry. It is, believe me, it is, you know. Paul the Venetian, experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. I love that. And look at the rose in the middle. Oh. Where would we be without love? And good people around us, you know? Where would we be? I love men, you know. I tell you, all that convid nonsense really shows me that there's some beautiful divine masculine men out there, you know. There is. And there are ones that have done their shadow work and they continue to do their shadow work. They don't run from their shadows. Do you know what I mean? They face them, or their demons or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They don't run from them. They face them fucking head on. They look them in the eye and they're like, right, let's do this. They do. I've had to do it. You know, I've had to. So, you know, Isis, magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused. Beautiful. Isis, yeah. Lovely. Yeah. Hope, love and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. Yeah. Mary Magdalene, Teacher Awakens. This came out earlier and I put it in my shorts. Beautiful. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. Absolutely. It's meant to be Mary Magdalene Day today. It's actually my eldest daughter's birthday today. She's 21. I can't believe I've got a 21-year-old. I'm like, wow, where did the years go? But also, you know, it is important to sort ourselves out for our children, because they deserve decent parents, you know. Serapis Bay, Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. Yeah. And Serapis Bay goes under ISS. Yeah, so it's my eldest daughter's birthday today, 21. So 21 years ago, I had a baby. And I was reflecting on that this morning, actually. Especially when I found out I was pregnant. I think I took quite a few pregnancy tests. I couldn't believe it. You know? I was 25, but I felt young. So, Hilarion, Divine Healing. Honour your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, I was kind of reflecting back 21 years ago. Mother Mary, love and peace. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. Yeah. I love being a mum. You know, I love being a mum. It's not been the easiest, you know. I think there's some people that look at me and they're just like, oh yeah, she hasn't been through this and everything else, she ain't got no idea. Okay, well, if that's what some people want to think, then whatever, you know. They don't know me, do you know what I mean? They don't know me. So fair enough, you know, people can make all sorts of judgment, but it isn't about, oh, been through this and been through that. And, you know, I tell you one thing that I was remembering this morning to do with my eldest daughter when I was close to miscarrying my daughter 2 months old, and I had to go to hospital on New Year's Eve. And they put an injection of pethidine in my bum. Oh my God, in my butt cheek. I was like, oh, you know, but it was weird because I was having, it was like contractions, you know. I talked to my mother-in-law and I'd be like, how do I know, like, when the baby's coming, all of this, you know, stuff. She'd be like, oh, you know, you will know, and, you know, and that. And I was having really early contractions and I had to go to hospital. So, yeah, I was reflecting on that today. And I'm grateful to have my daughter, and I'm grateful to have my second daughter and my son as well. So, you know, sometimes things help us to reflect and realise, in one sense, how lucky we are, you know. And the birth was okay. It wasn't like too bad, because I wouldn't, another thing, I wouldn't have a cesarean. She was breech, and I wouldn't have a cesarean. I refused to have a cesarean. And she was 5'9", little tiddler, when she was born. So, you know, this is just me reflecting 21 years ago when I had my beautiful daughter. And but I do that every year, you know, with my second daughter. My second daughter was born on my birthday. I can't get my words out for some reason. My second daughter was born on my birthday, 13th December. And my son was born on the 9th of March. So grateful. I'm grateful to be a mum. It's not been an easy journey. So, but I just feel in connection to healing. Children deserve good parents, you know. There's not a book to be a parent. We all learn along the way, but every day I am grateful for my children. So anyway, Lord Ganesh, and I'm grateful for Lord Ganesh. Infinite abundance. Obstacles are being removed. Spiritual support and connections are increasing. Yeah, when I was going through a difficult time, I connected a lot with Lord Ganesh. And I know some people are like, oh, you're not allowed to connect with deities and do this and do that. Whatever, you know, do whatever. I'm tired of people telling people, like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't, because they're nasty, they're dark, they're evil. You know, at the end of the day, like, who is there? Well, even Hecate, people say, oh no, don't connect with Hecate. I've never experienced anything nasty with Hecate. She's the queen of the witches, yes. The light, dark, shadow, yeah. But I've never experienced anything nasty. So, you know. And you know what? Also, the Da Vinci Code, that came to me, even though there's some questionable actors in that. I'm not going to go into that, but people will know what I'm on about. Yeah. And I'm not going to go full on into religion and all of that, because there's no point, you know. I've just, whatever, I'm not here to, you know. But it's like, there's so much of saying to people, you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't, you know, and stuff. Yes, you have to be mindful. You know, I think there's some, who is it? There's some medium someone was telling me about, and she just invites all sorts of spirits into her body, into her vessel. And someone was saying, like, in the group, they have to try and get them out. In this group, they have to try and get this spirit out of her. And I just thought, you're just, just whatever, innit? You know, I don't invite any of that in. So, but even though I've had to alchemize and learn how to protect myself, but there is connections to the underworld. Like, I'm not scared of demons. I'm not scared of these dark spirits that people have tried to send to me and do this and do that and try and make me have a car crash and try and ruin my business, my relationships, my life, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I look them in the eye and I'm not scared of them. And I think some people, they're like, wow, you know. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't be sending them to me. You shouldn't be sending them. And even in connection to do with my children, that's also been coming up, because I will do anything to protect my children, believe me. And my ancestors will do anything to protect them as well. So, you know, some people are finding out the hard way. And truth, I think it's about time some people did actually tell the truth. Yeah. You know, because lies catch up with people. If someone said to me, right, they came to me and they're like, did you do this, blah, blah, blah. If I did it, I'd be like, yeah, I did it. I'll admit it. Yeah. But if I didn't do it, I'm not going to admit to something that I've not even done. So, you know. But there's also a message there. It's not only in connection to do with me, that's also in connection to do with this reading. So, you know, and the truth always comes out. And as I say, some people are realising that, you know. Don't attack innocent people at the end of the day and think that you're going to get away with it, no matter how much money that's been paid out or whatever, right? You're not God, so you don't decide if someone lives or dies, basically. And the abundance, you won't be receiving it. Whoever's been doing that, the innocents will be receiving the abundance. Lord Ganesha, he will make sure of that. Dashuwal Kahul, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. Yeah. So all these, whoever they are, think that they're going to get some nice kind of shiny payout. It's not happening for you. Joan of Arc, voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. There you go. Yeah. And it goes out to the ones who have tried to persecute people in this life, and it could also be connected to past lives as well. Yeah, you didn't get away with it in this life. You might have got away with it in previous past lives, but you're not going to get away with it in this one. So there you go. Kafumi, cloak of wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. Yeah. Horus, cosmic gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. I might just go for one more, then I'm going to move on. Oh, okay. Gaia, Earth connection. Be mindful of the planets. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. Absolutely. You know, the ones that are trying to do not very nice things on this planet, they're definitely getting a wake-up call anyway. You know. And their gifts are probably, if they're not already, will be taken from them. Which I've spoken about before, and quite rightly so, because you're abusing your gifts, yeah? You're abusing them and hurting innocent people. And the wheel, the karma wheel is turning. So, you know, you could try and apologise. You know, that's been coming up as well, of people wanting to come in and apologise. But for me personally, I don't do second chances. I used to, but I don't anymore. So that's up to people. I'm not here to tell people what to do. But personally, I don't do second chances anymore. So it is what it is. Amber, chakra, solar plexus, stone of warmth, light. I embrace the healing properties of warmth and light. That's beautiful. That's my daughter's birthstone, Amber. And that's her middle name. Yeah. Beautiful. Amazonite, chakra, heart, throat, stone of harmony. My relationships with myself and others are honest and harmonious. Beautiful. I love connecting with these crystal cards. Oh, diamonds. Chakra crown, stone of purity. I allow my inner light to shine in its purest form. Beautiful. Why not? Don't be afraid to shine, and don't be afraid to speak your truth. Yeah. The lies are going to be exposed, and people are going to be shown for who they truly are. So these people better get ready if it's not happened like already anyway. So, you know, new moon in Cancer, relax. Last quarter moon in Pisces, talk less, feel more. That's why I say it's important to enjoy yourself. I know it can be difficult when we're going through certain situations, but that's why it's important to have good, kind, loving people around you. Last quarter moon in Scorpio, reveal what needs to be seen. I hardly see anybody from my past now because I just don't, you know, I'm not interested really. I've got better things to do. Full moon in Aries, call your emotions. Last quarter moon in Cancer, take a breather. Wow, quite a few there. Full moon in Pisces, forgive. Yeah, sometimes it can be about forgiving yourself, forgiving others, but to forgive, you don't have to let them in your life again, or it's entirely up to you. But as I say, for me personally, I don't give second chances anymore. So, first quarter moon in Taurus, release control. I've given some people so many chances over the years. I've just gone, no, I'm not doing it. And I always keep my word. Some people might say I'm stubborn like that. Fair enough. But I always keep my word. If I say I'm going to do something, then I will do it. So, you know, that's the way it is. New moon in Capricorn, step up and lead. But yeah, I'm not telling anyone what to do because, you know, it's up to you really what you decide to do. Okay, that one definitely wants to come out. Wealth 34. That's a lovely card, isn't it? What a lovely card. Ooh. They're all jumping out. Restriction 35. There's a few cards that flipped over. Oh, look, love. Number 45. Beautiful. Where would we be without love? The Water Fairy 28. Feelings and emotions. Oh, there's loads. Oh, they look like there was loads more. The Earth Fairy, number 27, physical health, grounding, foundations. Death, 46, doesn't necessarily mean a death. It could mean new beginnings. Out with the old, in with the new. You know, some people panic when they see that card, but, you know, depends what they've been up to, doesn't it, really, you know, in the manner of speaking. So it doesn't necessarily mean death. Wow. Movement 36. So yeah, change for the better. I don't feel it's a death. I love it when this card comes out. The Spider 15 creative projects. I love spiders. There was actually a connection to do with spiders in regards to spell work. Yeah. Where there were some practitioners actually using spiders to bite. And what was interesting, I had a beautiful spider out in my front garden in the web. It's incredible. I think I put a video up on shorts because I absolutely love spiders. I've got spiders here left, right and centre in my home, and my cats try and eat them, and I try to rescue them if I can. So I held a tarantula once. I think I was drunk. Our friends, and I've held a tarantula. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there was that connection of practitioners using spiders to bite, to come in. And I will tell you, one time actually, I was on the phone to my friend, and this black spider come from nowhere, and I put peppermint around, because apparently they're not keen on peppermint. And I woke up, and on the side of my eye, and I was like, what was that? It felt like a cut or something. And I went to the mirror, and literally the whole side of my eye was swollen. And my instant thought was a spider bite. So what I will say is that, these practitioners really need to be mindful what they're sending out. Do you know what I mean? And another thing that I was reminded of when people are doing this kind of connection, I wouldn't leave your hair in the forest. Whether it's a hairpiece or natural hair or this, that and the other, I really wouldn't, because you don't know in connection to do with the ancients in the forest. I wouldn't leave my hair there. But someone did. And I just, whatever, innit? So I'm being reminded of that for a reason. My guides are reminding me in connection to do with the spider. And I'm not going to say who it is. They know who they are. And they, whatever, innit? But whatever, no switched on practitioner would do that, right? There's a joke, it comes up sometimes on my Facebook, and it says something like, oh, to the people that don't believe in magic or witchcraft or what have you, and then you ask them for a piece of their hair, and then they're like, no thank you. So but yeah, my guides, for a reason, they wanted me to say about that. So I'm not going to be accused of doing anything, because I haven't done anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't do what I do, but I know I've been accused of doing all sorts. And at the end of the day, I've got better things to do. But I wouldn't leave my hair there. Do you know what I mean? I just wouldn't. So whoever with that, you know, well, they know they are, you're a bit daft really. But, you know, you learn though, don't you? Sometimes people learn the hard way, but yeah. It's too many. Yeah. That's too many. Oh my God, is my phone gonna go again? This happened blinking last time, didn't it?